Well, greetings everyone, and welcome to another episode of Anime Anticlimax. I would say the only show really happening on a regular basis on SeptumSin versus the world, but that'd be a lie because it doesn't really happen on a regular basis. But we're working on it. We're getting there. But today we have in with us Roger from Animazing.
Hello.
And Brittany from Danejurous Arts, or I don't know, or however you want to go. And just walking in, we've got Kotobuki Jake, also from our channel. And today we are actually going to be covering the Shinesman, which is fairly old school, a super long series, total of 2 episodes, and so I figured we'd have a chance to actually get it all watched before the end of the month.
It was successful.
So we were able to get it watched. This is, of course, a parody series that came out in the, I think, late 90s, early 2000s. About
late 90s.
About a group, about a Sentai group, essentially, that was formed by a business, a company, to protect their interests and, of course, to make sure that the world is not in danger from evil forces that want to take it over. So let's start with Roger. Was this your first time an experience with Shinesman?
Yes, mostly because I found this series to be kind of like extremely rare. When I was actually kind of like looking around for hard titles to find, I could never find it. I could have never found it until just recently. But there's something I never watched.
So what did you think of it? What was your first impression?
Well, I must admit, it's not a bad anime. It's not. it has good elements to it. It has good animation. It's simply, it's not going to be like, let me see, like the Hades Project, or maybe not like Detonator Ogun, something like that. It's just a fun show. I think I can categorize it as a fun show to watch, just to have brainless activity on it. So it has its pluses and minuses to it. Like there is no story to it, but you don't watch it for the story. You just watch it just to see stuff happen.
Well, how about you, Brittany? Was this your first time watching the Shinesman?
Oh, hell no. I was there at the premiere of this. So, yeah. This anime in America premiered at Katsukukan, I believe, 2006 or 2007. And, yeah, I sat in the room to watch this series. And it was a riot then. And it was enough to buy the video back on VHS right there at the con. But yeah, it's good to see there's a slight cult following of this series these days. But yeah.
All right. And how about you, Jake? Was this your first time with the Shinesman?
This is my first time seeing the Shinesman, but by no means is it my first time hearing about it. I know this one very well by reputation. And to be honest, I was kind of expecting something worse and crazier. To be honest, if this was a parody, it was a pretty friggin' tame parody.
Oh, yeah.
It almost works as a straight up Sentai series. I got more parody from Going to Be the Twin Tail than I did from this one. That being said, what's that?
So I know Roger watched the sub. Did you watch the sub or the dub?
I watched the dub.
The dub.
Oh, you watched the dub. All right.
the dub was on YouTube, and I honestly didn't really feel like hunting. It's one I'd like to see. From what I was looking at the credits, I got the impression that a lot of the Ranma team was behind this, and I'd kind of like to see. You had, I think it was Kappa Yamaguchi, I think is the main character, if I'm remembering correctly. Let me double check my cast here to make sure. You had a couple
Ocean Group.
Well, okay, not Kappa Yamaguchi, sorry, but Koichi Yamadera is Shinesman Gray. Noriko Hidaka is Shinesman Salmon Pink, and so that right there is Ryoga Nakane.
My montage.
There are a couple others. What's up?
Just quoting his. My montage is great.
Yes, the montage. Yes, it was. We need a montage. But from what I understand, from what I'm guessing, I think it's maybe a less illustrious English cast. I don't recognize most of these names.
Very, very illustrious. Yeah, they're not very big these days.
Those anime works that publish this, at least the Blu-ray, DVD that I got.
Yeah. Well, no, they produced it. For those that don't know, Anime Works is like the 5th big anime group in the 90s, and they mainly got their money off of hentai.
It was called Kitty Films.
Nice.
Yes, we know about that one.
Yeah.
But they were also known for just doing experimental anime. They just threw stuff on the wall and see what happened.
They were the first ones to do On My Goddess and also You're Under Arrest, I believe.
You're Under Arrest is definitely a great one.
Berserk was a pretty big one. The magical, what was it? The Magical Users Club was a big deal. They made a big deal out of it. But they were really known for doing all these little shows, all these little, couple parts like Simon, stuff like that. Nobody else would touch.
Yeah, and
isn't Anime Works the one that did? Aren't they the ones that did Animation Runner Chromie?
Maybe.
I
think that was ADV though.
Was it ADV? I don't know.
Or they were bought up by the rights were bought up by ADV. It's hard to say in this day because there was a lot of gobbling around in the anime spectrum.
So I got to admit. Go ahead.
Huh? Well, I was just gonna say, like, I got to admit, if the production behind the English release had a bit of a hentai background, then that just makes it even more disappointing how white toast most of this show was. But anyway, overall, though, I did find it quite entertaining. It did have some great one-liners. It had some, the dub was competent, even if they weren't stars. They did their job and they did it decently. Yeah. I've heard worse dubs.
I tell you what. That wasn't all that bad. I heard some bad dubs, but this is not a bad. Yeah. It's not a bad dub. Back in this time frame, we did have Pioneer stuff that was like the best, But I heard my fair share of bad dubs, and this wasn't a bad dub.
Oh.
It was a little plasticky, a little wooden, but heck, it was dubbed, and I didn't think it was a bad deal.
And some of their ad libs were actually pretty funny, but I'll go into some of that in a minute. Because I did watch the sub and the dub.
Because you had them?
Yes, I had them, and I was like, oh, wait. Roger's going to track down. I think I sent you a really bad copy of the sub.
I did track down the manga a little bit. Only about 4 chapters.
So Dave has joined us from Delusions of Grandeur or Inside Movies Galore or both. But Dave, was this your first time with the Shinesman?
I'm trying to remember because for some reason the part where the princess got locked inside the closet and got stuck inside the gator, or what looked like a gator.
I'm going to die in a Godzilla suit.
That part looked familiar for some reason, and I used to watch a lot of the stuff that went on the sci-fi for a little bit. So, but other than that, I think this was my first time. It's definitely from the Super Sentai era of things. Was this pre-Power Rangers or Power Rangers era?
Well, Power Rangers technically was a Sentai show all the way back in the 70s.
Yeah, I was going to say.
So, no.
I'd say during the time Power Rangers was airing as Power Rangers.
If I remember,
okay.
Power Rangers movie was 95 or 96?
95.
Okay, so I'll double check on that, I guess. But the ANN lists this as a 96 release.
98
So
in the US,
that would
so.
What's that?
And 98 in the US.
Right. So the Power Rangers movie was 95. So yeah, Power Rangers definitely came first, and I think whether most Americans would have definitely been thinking Power Rangers when they watched this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what I was thinking when I watched it for the first time.
I will say the creator of the series created it as a spoof of the whole Sentai sort of Power Rangers shows.
Yeah, it definitely shows.
I know that the characters of the suited members were definitely very tall, at least to me, like very elongated in form, at least to my viewing eye. So that's something I noticed. Oh, and and was this a manga before? And
Yes.
so they
Yes,
already
and apparently it was a shoujo manga, so that's why they were elongated.
They already expected you to know the characters because they were kind of like, oh, this is who we are, instead of going into a whole historical detail.
Well,
They didn't need to.
The anime is basically some of what happened in the manga, but characters like Sheena did not exist in the manga.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Sheena is an interesting character.
That was Princess Sheena, right?
Yeah.
But then you wouldn't have lines like, Sheena, get in the glowing green square.
Well, I wonder if Sheena was kind of a play on the original, because there was a Sheena of the jungle, Sheena of the Amazons, like in serial chapters. I wonder if they kind of played on her a little bit, at least.
I don't know. I do know, while it's Shinesman in American, it's like English.
Shinesman, according to the title.
Yeah, Shinesman, which is basically a salaryman.
Yes.
Okay.
I did find that I always found the concept of like them being basically company people with weapons that reflect that, like business card cutter.
If I was a kid watching this, I would think that Shinesman was a shoe shine boy. So.
But then you wouldn't have that line, shine on, Shinesman, which they translated badly in the subs. Because he was actually, that line in the song was in English, and they still said, go Shinesman is the translation.
Okay.
But, yeah. See, now, did you have anything else for your first impression, Dave?
No, I mean, I kind of wish that we would have gotten more than just these 2 episodes, but
Yeah.
obviously, for obvious reasons, they cut it short, cut it to the quick, and probably lost some money while doing so, and just went on to other different things, So
They can't all be winners.
nope.
And
I could have dealt with like either a 6-parter or an 8-parter,
But
now, the manga ran for 9 books, and I will say the only 4 chapters I could find only featured gray, moss green, and red.
I mean, it sounds like they didn't exactly follow the manga.
No.
So, and in the chats, from what it sounded like, the dub was a little bit different than the subtitled version.
yes, not a lot, but yes, and I'll go into that with my first impression, and we'll go a little bit more into it later. Anything else?
Not that I know of. These were just my observations.
All right. And, well, this is not my first time watching Shinesman. It is actually my... God, I don't know how many times it's been since I've watched that I watched this, but Brittany did introduce me to this one. And a myriad of other 1 and 2 episode series. Ones like Dragon Half or Elf Princess Rain, which
Those are way better though.
were out there at the time. But I really did find this funny because I didn't care for Power Rangers. I know sacrilege. But I think it was because I was a bit too old when it came out, so I was just out of its demographic. And I looked at this as like, this is a hilarious thing. And then I decided to watch it in the sub. And I realized that, a lot of the humor still holds pretty well in the sub. But I did feel like that the dub cast actually did have a little bit more fun with the script than was probably written down. Because there are a couple of things here and there that they definitely said more or said slightly differently there. Not like ghost stories, but definitely definitely a tamer vein of that. Just little things here and there that to me made it very funny. I still enjoy it to this day. I find the humor holds up well for me. But again, I also understand a lot of the jokes that are outdated. I know that was one thing that we were talking about chatting earlier. But it's where somebody's like, it's like, be sure to call later. It's like, it's 10 cents a minute after 6.
Yeah, I mean, the jokes, they're just, it's not like they're in bad taste. They're just something someone younger won't understand.
Yeah, someone younger wouldn't be offended by the content. They may be offended by like missing people or places from content, but they wouldn't be offended by any of the jokes or anything like that. So it's definitely to me, it still holds up. I have a lot of fond memories of it from back in that time period, and still am glad to have my copy this day. So there is a... Let me see. Okay, that's where it's coming from. But any case, I guess let's get started. The Shinesman is, of course, you start out with them finishing a battle and then flashing back afterwards to how Red joined Shinesman, which is our main character and his little brother. And when he signs on to the company CEO asks him what his favorite Sentai color is, and he remembers his little brother. It's like, oh, red, because you could tell Red's the leader because he's the coolest. So he picked Red, and she's like, I like that. And then signs him right up as one of these Shinesmen. which is that special force in the industry that is helps protect industry secrets as well as the world. So what do y'all? So there's a bunch of different ones. You've got Salmon Pink, who is kind of she's kind of sick and tired of all of the of her male business associates ordering her around, yet she still gets the stuff for them anyway. You've got Yellow, which I believe thinks only about his daughter.
Sepia.
Sepia, yes. Moss Green, who is the ladies' man. And Gray, who is all obsessed with his car. What do y'all think of this cast of characters?
Let's see. Well, they're a
I mean-
group. So they don't do well alone. They only work well in fives.
They're all-
I mean, they're more fleshed out than most Sentai I've seen.
Yeah, true. They're all creepily obsessed with the main character's little brother, which is also strange.
Not as much as their handler. Oh, that was I'm saying.
God.
She's throwing off mad Shotokan vibes.
Yes. It's the
But,
closest thing to an inappropriate joke that I saw in this series.
Yeah. I thought, they made a lot about how drab and unappealing the color scheme is. And I'm like, it's not bad. But I'm amused hearing them shout out like Sienna, Moss Green. Oh, Sepia, sorry. Sepia, Moss Green, Salmon Pink. It's a little more.
Yeah, and it's like my montage is great. I still remember that line.
Yeah.
How much did Subaru had to pay for that advertisement?
I think it was a Montero or something like that in the Japanese, or something like that. But I thought that they were I thought it was kind of fun to see. I'd like to have seen more from them. It's hard to flesh them out when you got 2 episodes. But
Well, I mean, we said the ladies' man being Moss Green and Gray being the guy obsessed with his car, and Salmon Pink being the sort of office lady that kind of just gives in and does things. The most character developed outside of Red is Sepia. And we don't see much, but we do see that he has a daughter. He's obsessed with his daughter. And he also hates the naming of the weapons.
yes, I must bring my daughter a stuffed fish. But of course, we also have some villains from a rival company established by a planet that wants to invade and take over the Earth. And it's mainly the main prince of the planet and his assistant, which you feel like which definitely looks like they were planning on doing a little bit more with that in the series, having him be the brother of one of the characters that's helping the Shinesman later on. And then, of course, you have his cousin. You have the main prince's cousin, Sheena, who is in the first 2 episodes, or only 2 episodes, who has an idea on how to beat the Shinesman. So what do y'all think of the cast of villains?
Yes. I like how they describe the guy that is the prince's adjutant, I guess, but actually is like by far the more competent of the 2 and the one that remains on task. I like how he described that they had trouble finding footage of the Shinesman, so he just sent a bunch of videos of Sentais up to the home planet. And so the princess has a very skewed view of Earth.
Well, especially I want to know where they hide those big hammers from.
Right. But yeah, I do like, and again, we'll mention him again. I like the way that the film does present the business aspect of it with such a straight-faced importance. And the fact that you get this guy sitting down opposite the two of the Shinesmen, and they're just, having this great business meeting. It's like, you know who they are, and it's just kind of fun seeing that play out.
Anybody else on the villains? Oh,
I do like the joke of the prince and his protege having the name Seki and Sasake as a sort of a tongue twister. But then also, you gotta love Sheena. She's annoying as hell, but she's dumb as a brick, and that's the kind of villain you want to see on something like this.
I don't think her elevator goes all the way to the top floor. I love that line.
Her annoying. I found her amusing.
That's actually one of two translations that I actually found funnier in the dub, because that was not how they said it in the sub. I think they just said she doesn't really sound that smart, which I like the other way better, but I understand it. It's got the point across.
Well, Sheena,
they did also just straight up call her a bimbo a few times.
Yeah, that also wasn't in the translation. A bimbo.
Yeah, then also Princess Sheena didn't like to be touched.
Well, that's more of a cultural aspect.
Well, it's something that happens in the manga from what I've read to the prince, since Sheena doesn't show, that they have some sort of sacred element where you can't see the royals with no clothes on.
I think I'll keep him.
Fastest way to get a boyfriend. It's like,
or she can execute you, but either way. But both of them revolve around the amusement park that the company operates and the shows involving the great men, which I admit, when I first heard it, I thought they were saying great men. But yeah, the great men, who are the Sentai team that performs at the park. One of them, where she has a monster named Caramel that attacks. I do like how the monster gives her the thumbs up about her outfit as it goes. But there's also the time where she does a evil version of the Great Men team to fight the Shinesmen. So there were two kind of cool little planned episodes with her being defeated and leaving after the second. So in a way, you got kind of the Sheena saga done in that one little storyline. So what did y'all think of the actual action for both episodes? There's not a ton of going on other than each one having a thing. The monster really, I did think that they said business card cutter was useless, but actually it wasn't that useless. It actually cut all the tentacles off and freed the people from the attacker. So, but was it business card cutter, tie clip bomb, and cufflink blast or something?
Coffee bean.
Okay. So yeah, like, who names these? I have got to get better colors. But what did y'all think of the first fight?
See the green thing.
It's
Are
okay.
you talking one on the stage?
Yeah, Caramel.
I thought it was okay. I mean, you had Princess Sheena, who got herself locked in
Yes.
the costume closet because she was like going wow, and didn't realize that the broom had like locked her in there, and of course she broke the zipper off, and, you know.
Which is how he got to see her in basically in her underwear because she had stripped down to get into the Godzilla suit.
Yep.
But yeah, that led to a very funny one-liner there. And then, of course, she decides that she'll keep him and decide to date him. And that didn't work out for very long, but hey, it was still something there. And of course, she also had a little bonding moment in the second episode with his little brother, as everybody does.
Because Yota's the best.
But the second fight was with the with the evil Sentai team, and the sort of like universe that they can send them to boost the bad guys' powers.
The alternate dimension universe thing.
Yeah. So, what did y'all think of that fight?
Well, it's kind of like watching Gotchaman to a point, because they had combined themselves in one big ball of power, and they would pound each other with that. But then they combine all the colors to one grand color.
Yeah,
One
surprisingly,
very plain color.
surprisingly, the blander colors came out on top.
Yeah.
Hey, at least they also had red.
They did.
Well, you can't have a Sentai team without red.
Well, yeah, red's the leader. But of course, they had a lot of stuff in the credits also that I thought was interesting because it made it look like they definitely intended on doing more than 2 episodes of this series.
Basically, this is what, when people talk about ghost stories, they kind of say how animes are acquired back in the 90s is basically you buy a lump sum.
Mm-hmm.
And this would have been one of those bought in a lump sum shows. Ironically, I know 4Kids tried to say One Piece was bought in a lump sum and tried to play off they didn't know what they had when they did the horrible dub of that. Yeah, you get these, especially with 80s, mostly the OVAs.
I don't know. 4Kids got the most iconic opening of any anime with One Piece.
Damn straight.
I will admit, it's the one I remember the most out of all the openers I've seen in that series. So, any comments on the series itself?
It's kind of short. And the story is kind of, I mean, like I said, it's not a bad show. I mean, it's just that it's not designed to have a lasting impression. And the good news about it, that it's ultra rare. So if you're really trying to finish your collection with this thing, you're going to have yourself some fun.
Oh yeah, well, and I got this thing back in the early 2000s, so it was still not super rare. Actually, it was very inexpensive when I got it. That was back when
I'm surprised it came out on DVD.
That's back when those series, that one, Princess Rain, and a few of the others, were going for $5 or less when you find them at the movie stores.
Not at cons, I tell you. Not at cons. I paid full price for this show on VHS.
Oh my. I paid 50% off $5. But
I don't know. You can almost blink, and it's almost not there. So it is short. So 2 episodes, 25 minutes apiece. I feel like we were gypped.
Actually, I will say it was the best $2.50 I had spent on an anime.
Oh man, that's super cheap.
So, but I really, actually, there is something charming about these small series. I really liked this one. I really liked Elf Princess Rain with them.
Oh yeah, it's good.
With them going through the like theater at the end, looking for change to buy more episodes with, or Dragon Half, which is considered notoriously bad. I think that one only got like 1 episode.
Actually, I got more than 1. I think I had like 2.
Now, what's funny though is Dragon Half, you can read the entire manga here. It has been brought to here.
I think we have 3 volumes of Dragon Half.
And because they released the entire series here, which I do, which is one of the few manga I have the complete collection of, because it is superior to the anime, but that's not saying much because the anime was was really, really small. But it did introduce me to Damaramu, who has whose brain is so compact that he can be shot in the head and be okay.
Damaramu's brain is very compact.
Only a little bit of damage. It got pierced by his own sword, and then it just nicked his brain a little bit when I got stabbed with it in the head.
Yes.
So yeah, that was ADV's first attempt for comedy. Up until then, only had serious shows.
I mean, there are other ones like Mad Bull 99, and which is almost a comedy with how crazily over the top violent it was.
Well, if you really want to have that, then I guess you could go with was it called something Jack?
Violence Jack.
Yeah, Violence Jack. Yeah.
But
stuff.
To me, I really do like hitting one of these just because these little pieces right here, which Brittany is, throwing it out that yes, these were kind of like bought in bulk or given in bulk. So I do still find them fun as a fun part of anime history. And it's really cool to be able to go through it and see something like the Shinesman, which who knows, maybe there'll be a revival one day and it'll be even more over the top and they'll do like a full series.
Well,
so
they did do an anime like it. Back in spring, not this spring that we had, but the 2022. There's a series called Love After World Domination. Comedy series about Sentai characters that has the main female villain falling in love with Red.
And I'd say at the end of this, the biggest thing that came out of this for me was a lot of the one-liners. I mean, things like him saying, "Sheena, please get in the glowing green square," or it's like, "Oh, driving on Earth is so fun. Everybody's so friendly. They keep waving." Things like that. Just all in general fun. I'll remember a lot of the one-liners for a while. I mean, shoot, I remember them for a good 20 years. I think I can remember them for longer. But I guess anything else about the show itself before we go into other pieces?
Nope.
All right. So, animation. I didn't consider this to have expensive animation, and I would have been frankly super surprised if it was over the top expensive animation considering. So to me, I thought it did its job okay. But what about the rest of y'all?
I think the animation was okay. I mean, you're not looking at a high budget production. I think it's done by production IG. So
Yeah.
Man, it's not like it doesn't have quality. I'm seeing way worse anime
yeah.
where you can actually see the frame movement.
Mhm.
Like Samurai
Yeah.
Bound High School. It's basically, so what happened to the quality after after a couple episodes? This went down to like chalk drawings moving. So at least the consistency was well done. It was very fluid in movement. You didn't have like a strange warpage of the character designs throughout the zone. So they did some care to it. This wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't badly animated.
You're hardly going to find too many OVAs that go in bad animation territory because they've got a set limit and they only do a few shows. So most of the money spent in all the shows. Not to say it's bad.
Anybody else?
No, I mean, I've seen worse too. So I thought that the animation was okay. I mean, for what was needed, and it was believable to a point.
All right. Well, what about music? Now, the main theme is very much a take on Sentai or superhero type shows. I thought it was fairly good for what it did, and relatively memorable. But what are y'all's takes on it?
Instantly forgettable.
I mean, it's catchy, but I mean, honestly, I got more out of the Go Lion opening when we were doing Voltron.
It's kind of in the same vein in a lot of ways. I like the opener. It's a good cheesy kind of actioner, but it is not as memorable as I would love. And I like the ender, but again, maybe if the show had run for 10 episodes, I'd have a higher ranking for either one.
Yeah, true. I mean, with Voltron, if I only heard the Voltron theme once or twice total, and my entire time, I probably wouldn't have remembered it as much as I did as a kid.
Actually, I was fairly surprised with Voltron, especially with the second part of it with the flying vehicles instead of the flying thing. I said, "Hey, what's going on with this?"
Yeah, Voltron is a good example of what Americans did to bastardize original anime series and bring it to America.
It was a long, hard tradition, starting with Speed Racer, where they just changed just changed the plot. Let's just change it. We just have racing, no death. But Voltron did have an impact that's even talked to about today.
Oh yeah. A lot of these series, Speed Racer had an impact, for better or for worse.
It did have a real movie. I give you that. It did have that.
So, how about the ending theme? Does anybody actually remember the ending theme?
No.
Not at all.
Yeah, the only thing I remember is that it had a picture of
a kid and a guy.
Yeah, and Salmon Pink in like a bikini, and that was about it.
They put the money where it needed to put at, and after that, it just gave you still scenes.
That was like when I was first watching it. I was like, "Wait, where's my beach episode? This ending theme promised me a beach episode." All right. Well, with that being said, Shinesman was an interesting attempt at parody that didn't really get brought over here with much more than a 2-episode anime, but still one that holds a special place in the hearts of those that actually checked it out back in the day. But still one I think worth bringing up, especially when we talk about that time period and what was released. Because I don't think they do that as much these days. Do they release any of these 1 and 2 episode series these days?
Kind of, but they're very unheard of. I'm looking at one that's set to come out in winter right now, and it's an only 1 episode.
Because the only one I can remember that actually got an American release that I saw was Cat Shit 1. Which was only 1 episode. But then again, probably none of them have gotten such a wide release as these types had back in their day. And wide release being a relative term considering the anime market at that time.
Well, around 2000, the anime market was pretty well. We're just starting to really start to gear up. You started to have a lot more anime available. I mean, software sculptors had already put out Slayers. People were getting all kinds of different stuff. It was a good year, right? Just that when we hit 2008, we hit a wall.
Yeah, we definitely hit a wall at that point.
Good stuff. It's a, my God, how much more blood? But during this time, it was a time of exploration. I remember always walking to the video store and looking around for, what's this thing? let's try it out.
Oh, this was the kind of thing you would find at Saturday matinee on a Friday night or something when you're walking around in the mall looking for stuff. So, with that being said, let's go from, I guess, the opposite end over and talk about favorite scene or one line, if you want to do a one-liner. And I guess tell us about yourself. So we'll start with Jake. Tell us about yourself and your favorite scene and or one-liner from this anime.
Well, favorite scene. Kind of hard to say if there was a favorite scene. I enjoyed some of the fighting scenes. I enjoyed some of the maybe the scene where Red rescues Sheena from her Godzilla prison. I don't know. There were some fun little scenes here and there, but favorite one-liners. I think the line that, guys, I don't think this girl's elevator goes to the top floor. I just thought that was kind of hilarious. And there were a couple of other similar moments. I did like where she tweaked him right before going to her brother, cousin, right before going through the portal, and it's like he's even cuter under the mask or something like that, and he's like, he realizes, wait, you know who he is, but and then she's gone, and they're like, oh well, she's probably just lying to him, It's like tries to think about that. But I feel like there was at least one more one-liner I wanted to throw out, but I'm just not even thinking about it. So I'll go with that one. But anyway, so we're going ahead and doing outros too?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm Kotobuki Jake, and of course, those of you who are regularly here for this channel will probably know that. I like to think so. I also like to think that you'll be tuning in Saturday for the release of this year's Versus Awards. We had an interesting Versus Awards season, but I think we had some pretty cool choices at the end of the day, and anime was actually pretty well represented, so that's nice. And otherwise, I do generally keep pretty busy. I've got a full-time gig that pays the bills, but also have a passion project, which is RVA Homegrown Natives, which is a native plant nursery here in Central Virginia that spend a lot of time working on that too. But I also like my viewing, and I like to watch stuff for this channel, where we're working on some projects for this channel that require quite a bit of viewing. But also for Dave's channel, Inside Movies Galore. We've just finished a documentary month, and next week I get to terrify everyone with one of the most disturbing films ever. The one that, even though Darren Aronofsky denies it, was almost surely based on Perfect Blue, Black Swan. So, be good times. Although apparently there is actually a legit remake of Perfect Blue coming out. I don't know if I'd heard about this before, but mixed thoughts about that.
So, Brittany, favorite scene and/or one-liner, and of course, tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that you've been much busier lately with the channel and such.
Oh yeah. My favorite scene is Sheena in the car going, "Oh, they're all waving at me. They must be really nice." As she's driving backwards down the street. So, yeah. I've been getting back to streaming. We've had a couple technical issues, last night being one of them, where the art stuff that we've been doing kind of crapped out on us. So we're getting our legs back on. But we did get to have some time with Fran Bow this past weekend, and we're going to try and continue that. And we're going to be back with art stuff in a new way on Saturday. So, yeah.
All right, Roger, favorite scene and/or one-liner, and a little bit about yourself.
Well, my favorite scene was the Sheena being trapped in the Godzilla suit in the closet. It was really, pretty interesting. And then the zipper broke, and she couldn't get out of it, and she started to overheat. So that was very interesting. Ironically, one of the lines I keep, for whatever reason I remembered, was the one when she says that, "Don't touch my skin, otherwise I'll have to marry you or kill you." Who I am, my name is Roger. I run a small Facebook group called Animazing Collection Company, where a group of people that are obsessively wanting to have the largest collections and they can possibly contain in people's homes. So they're a bunch of otaku. They like collecting. They like passing around information. So if anybody is interested in anime or a big time collector, drop me an invite and I'll consider it.
All right. Always some fun stuff there. I did my own little short review of Shinesman. And
I saw that, buddy. Thank you so much.
So then the bearded one. Can you tell us your favorite scene and/or one-liner, and then a little bit about yourself?
I think my favorite scene will be the part where she actually gets stuck inside the closet and her zipper gets stuck, and dude comes down and sees her unclothed. And my favorite one-liner will probably be when he realizes that there's something going on, and he's got to go back to his little brother Yoda, I believe his name is, and she's like, "Hey, you don't get to see me unclothed and run off like that." But my name is David Streggy. I run Inside Movies Galore, where we go on and about various films of all shapes and sizes. So hopefully you can come over to our channel and check us out. We go on every Monday at 8:00 Central. But I also do moonlight on a different channel and we do something similar on Sundays, which we'll be back with another Mel Brooks production. I don't know which one yet. I've got to talk to Philippe. He hasn't chosen yet, but I'm sure it'll be fun. But I do some video pickups and video reviews from time to time, so check us out. And hopefully this coming up here, I'll be finishing the anthology I've been working on called Tales of the Forgotten. So hopefully I'll be wrapping up that up here shortly too. So had a new idea for another short film. So, but in any case, thank you.
All right. So, of course, for me, I always like that scene where they've got the first monster and they're all sitting there like talking about what their regrets are. He's like, I need to see my montage again, or I must bring my daughter a stuffed fish. Or Sepia says, like, I've got a date with the twins tonight. And of course, my favorite one-liner is still, I'm going to die in a Godzilla suit. I don't know why. That just always cracks me up every time I hear it. But of course, you're watching SeptumSin versus the World. Matter of fact, this is a good ramp up. I threw out like a little sneak peek at some of our stuff that we're going to be utilizing for our new episode format, which starts next week. So officially we are back from hiatus next week on Fridays. We're going to have a new show out every Friday. So that's going to be fun. We're going to film it a little bit earlier, but we're definitely getting it out by Fridays. So before we go, we got to decide on next time's show. So let's see. Dave, did you have any Halloween anime that you wanted to throw out?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
What was that Pet Shop one? Pet Shop of Horrors or
Pet Shop of Horrors? Yeah, that's definitely a horror one. Man, I forgot we were trying to talk about potentially scary anime. That one actually does fit the list of definitely a horror anime. Any others?
Not that I can think of right offhand.
All right, so I'll add that to the list. And here we go. Come on, Trick or Treat. Not Trick or Treat. Is it? Yeah, it's Trick or Treat. But that's not what. All right. It is not Trick or Treat. Damn it. All right, let's see which one it is. All right, it is Jake's pick, Ghost Stories.
Yeah. Okay, well, what it is what it is.
All righty.
Speaking
I think everyone picked that.
dub changes.
Yeah, I changed mine. I was like, I don't feel like doing Ghost Stories. And then it
Who wants to watch the sub?
Yeah.
Actually, I thought the dub was better.
So
Everyone thinks the
Jacob,
dub is better.
it is your pick. Do you need us to watch the sub or the dub? Because the sub and Ghost Stories is very different.
Yeah, I would say let's go with the dub. I will try to watch both if I have time, but I think the dub is the one we'll have more fun with.
Now, I will say this for anybody who might want to watch along with us this month. Warning for those of you who are more younger sensibilities. This one, humor definitely does not hold up to this day and age about the offensive quality.
What are you talking about? It's like they used
What are you talking about?
like 15, 20 times.
It's perfectly family friendly and tame and nothing at all that reflects the values of the time versus now.
Yes. Praise Jesus. All right. Well, I'm sure it will be fun. And actually, this is one that you actually have, Dave, if I recall correctly.
Which one?
Ghost Stories.
Yeah, I think so.
And you've actually put it up in the past.
I
So,
have.
Okay.
so it'll be interesting. And we will see you all on the next
Yeah. No.